Peace. Shalom, shalom, family. Climb on in. Climb on in. Hey, look, I need y'all to whip out y'all pens and y'all pads today and write all this stuff down because we finna dig deep today and really get into the anatomy of the body. Today I'm going over the endocrine system. We're gonna talk about the glandular highway and how consciousness, whether it's healthy consciousness or whether it's unhealthy consciousness, whether it's a consciousness full of disease or whether it's a consciousness at ease, how it's expressed through the body. So y'all make sure y'all climb on in. Let me invite some people in the building. And look, I suggest y'all to get y'all pens and y'all pads out because we finna cover and go over a whole lot of information. So let me turn my phone off too. All right, I'm inviting everybody on in. Give me 1 second, family. Come on in this deal. All praises. Give me 1 second. Again, we're going over the endocrine system. We finna show how you truly get sick. 85% of all diseases starts in this system and what we call the glandular highway. 85%. All right, so y'all climb on in and we're gonna go and get started. All right. Elder Rufus, shalom, shalom. Talia, Sherelle, shalom, shalom. Laney, shalom. Fatima, shalom. Climb on in here. We got to go over a lot of stuff, so y'all climb on in. I'm going to share my screen with y'all. And G.O., shalom, shalom. We're going to really get into this. Once you really understand the endocrine system, y'all, you will understand true healing and how disease is actually manifested. Disease can only be manifested through these 7 systems here. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. Like I said, please write this stuff down because it's very important. And you can straight use this and apply this to yourself to actually learn some things. So let's get to it. Let me click on it. 5% of all okay, diseases. I can hear everything. All right, I'm going to share my screen with y'all. We're going to start this off. I'm going to let a few more people climb in. I want to start it off with this picture right here because this is what we actually talking about today. Okay, this is what we're going to be talking about. This is what we're going to be going over, the glandular highway, the endocrine system. It's all about the glandular system. Again, 85% of all diseases is starting by either one of these glands or hyposensitive or one of these glands or hypersensitive. Either one of these glands are not producing or secreting enough hormones, steroids, enzymes, or they're producing too many hormones, steroids, neurotransmitter, enzymes, and salts. Wayne, shalom, shalom, Mima, Yael, shalom, Daryl in the building, Aliyah in the building, Erica in the building, Naomi in the building. Shalom, family, climb on in here. So look, let's talk about it. So basically, I want to go over and show y'all what they call the endocrine system, or what they call the glandular highway. So if you see where I have my plus marker at, right? This actually represents the pituitary gland. All right, write these down because we finna break all of them down and show you how 85% of your diseases, it have to be connected to one of these glands. And that's why when you get these glands and the energy inside these glands in alignment with each other, you actually bring a harmonious peace to your body and to your mind. This is literally how your consciousness, or what we call the spiritual body, expresses itself in the physical realm. It's through one of these glands right here. All right, so the big one right here is the pituitary gland. We're going to start with the woman. This is the pituitary gland, okay? This little spot right here is the third eye, what they call the pineal or the pineal gland. We're going to talk about all these today. This right here is the thyroid gland. Inside of the thyroid gland, on each side, you have something called the parathyroid gland. We're going to get into that as well. All right. This little yellow part behind the heart, right above the heart, is called the thymus gland. All right. You have another gland inside the intestines that they do not want to talk about. And I always talk about how the stomach is actually your second brain, or literally your third brain. But we're going to talk about that today. They be hiding so much from us because they know if we get a hold of this knowledge and we start applying it to oneself, then we're going to become the true gods that we was created to be. All right, so you have a gland right here that we're going to talk about too. That's actually inside your transverse colon in your duodenum that secretes some melanin neurotransmitter as well. These two glands right here are called your adrenal glands. They actually sit on top of your kidneys. They're pyramid-like glands. This right here is called your pancreas or your pancreatic glands. All these glands do is secrete. These to the woman are called the ovaries. Only difference between a man and a woman when it comes to the glands, not the biomolecular structure of the body, but the glands is she have ovaries and we have testes or gonads, okay? Or what they call nuts. That's what we have. Every other glands in our body is literally the same. Ours are a little bit bigger than the females. All right. Now check this out. When we go deep into this, you're going to see half of your health problems are coming from this gland. Any one of these glands is being down. Literally, these are the driving forces of your emotions, y'all. Literally. All right. So I want to start here. I want to start really talking about the skin first before we even get in there, because this is what's going to set the stage for what I'm trying to bring forth. So I'm going to click off this. I'm going to click out of this. And we're going to just get straight to it. Let's jump straight in. Let's jump straight in. All right. So, when a woman actually becomes pregnant, right? When she becomes pregnant, the fetus, or what we call the embryo, is created from a protein sleeve, or what we call a melanin sleeve, right? Well, what gives birth from this melanin or this protein seed is basically a fetus or embryo before it comes a fetus. Well, this embryo is made of 3 layers of skin. What I want to talk about is the ectoderm. And the reason why I want to talk about the ectoderm, which is a part of this embryonic cell that becomes a fetus, the fetus becomes an infant, the infant becomes a baby, the baby becomes a toddler, the toddler becomes a preteen, the preteen becomes a human being, the human being becomes a mature adult, and this mature adult dies, right? The reason why I want to talk about this is because this is the beginning stages to everything. All right, so when you actually get into the embryonic or the symbiotic relationship, we look at an embryonic cell. One of the layers to that skin is called the ectoderm skin. All right, the ectoderm. Look this up, y'all. Now, what's crazy is that the ectoderm, which is a part of the embryonic cell, before that cell look like that little horse fish, before it becomes that, is these 3 layers of skin. Now, the ectoderm actually produces the skin cells, and it produces the neuron of the brain. So your skin cells and your brain cells are created from the exact same layer of skin when you are an embryo inside of your mother's womb. Let me say that again. Your skin cells and your brain is made from the exact same skin or the exact same cells when you're in the embryonic stage inside of your mother's womb. So if they're made from the same cells, that means that your skin must have neuron melanin transmitters going through. That must mean that your skin actually have receptors and can scan the environment. That must mean your skin can think for itself, which it does. That's why when you get scared or you see something creepy, you get goosebumps, right? That's why when you're stressed out, you break out in bumps. Even with people with herpes, soon as they get stressed, what happens to their skin? It expresses what's been going on inside of their body, because your skin actually thinks for itself and have melanin neuron transmitters. All right. So again, before we keep going, your skin and your brain is made of the same exact ectoderm skin cells. Now let's keep it going. And the reason why we have to go over this first, because I want y'all to get full understanding of what I'm talking about. Now check this out. It says, in general, ectoderm develops into parts of the skin, the brain, and the nervous system. So your whole entire nervous system is made from the same exact skin cells your skin is made from. All right. It says the brain and the nervous system. Mesoderm, remember I told you it was 3 layers of these skins. Mesoderm give rise to bones, muscles, the heart, and the circulatory system, and the internal sex organs. Endoderm. So you have the ectoderm, the mesoderm, and the endoderm. It's a whole class I'm doing on this next week, but I do want to introduce bits and pieces of it because I cannot talk about the glandular highway without talking about this first. The endoderm turns into the inner lining of some systems. This is what makes your mucosa system up, which we're going to get into that too. And some organs such as the liver and the pancreas. All right. So we see that the ectoderm, the endoderm, and the ectoderm, the mesoderm, and the endoderm is what creates you. That's what creates an embryo. All right. And then we just established that the ectoderm creates the skin and the brain and the nervous system. And look, if y'all want to look this stuff up yourselves, I got all the links inside of the pictures. Okay. Now let's keep it going. Now, the reason why I want to talk about that before we get to the glances is because this, okay, a sensory receptor is a structure that reacts to a physical stimuli in the environment. So you actually have something called cilius or called hair follicles. Your hair is antennas and receptors. They're attached to your nerve endings that stick up out of your skin. They literally scan the environment to let you know how you finna feel. Literally. So when people say I got a gut feeling about something, or man, I feel bad about walking into that situation, or man, oh, something ain't right, something going on today. They literally are sensing this in the environment through the hair in their skin, because you have sensory receptors or what we call melanin neuron transmitters, because your skin is a brain too that actually scans the environment, and then it sends signals back to your nervous system in your brain, and then the brain sends forth chemicals through your endocrine system or your glandular highway. Then a chemical process takes place, and then now you are perceiving reality. All right? So a sensory receptor is a structure that reacts to a physical stimulus in the environment, whether internal or external. This is a sensory nerve ending that receives information and conduct a process of generating nerve impulses to be transmitted to the brain for interpretation and perception. Sensory receptors vary in classifications, but generally initiate the same processes in registering stimuli and creating nerve signals. Do y'all hear what that just said? The way your brain get nerve signals and perception is by way of your skin cells scanning the environment. That's deep. That is deep. That's deep. Yes, that's why they want you to cut all your hair off. That's why they want brothers to cut their what they call dreadlocks. Ain't nothing dreadful about locks. That's why they want brothers to cut their locks and they naps out their head. That's why they pushing perms and bleaches upon our sisters. It's all to damage your skin cells, because when you damage your hair, you're damaging your skin cells. And this is how you're connected to the cosmos. This is how you're really staying healthy, because you need hair on your skin and inside of your internal organs to scan the environment to let your cells know when to change. Let your red blood cells know when to populate, to let your white blood cells and your thymus gland cells and your immune cells to know when to come fight. That's the whole point of your hair. A lot of people don't know the point of their hair. That's the main point of your hair. It's to scan the environment and then to send signals through your body and through your glandular highway to change your proteins and to change your amino acids to fight whatever is coming. It's either going to be fight, flight, or pleasure. But can none of this happen without your glances? Can none of this happen without the glandular highway, or what they call the endocrine system? All right. Now let's get into some pictures real quick. So this is showing you your skin. So if you're looking at the skin, you got pain receptors in your skin that scans the environment. You got cold receptors in your skin. That's how you know if it's cold or not, right? This is actually attached to the thyroid and parathyroid. Remember, I should tell everybody to check their basal temperature. You got heat receptors, which again is connected to the thyroid and parathyroid and other glands. You got pressure receptors, which is connected to the pituitary gland. Then you got touch receptors, which is connected to the hypothalamus gland. All these are connected to glances, y'all, meaning that your glandular highway from your pineal gland all the way down to your gonads, all these glances in your body works in a chemical way for you to perceive reality. Period. You can't touch, you can't taste, you can't see, you can't smell, you can't do nothing without your glances. And your glances are connected to your nervous system. Your nervous system are connected to your skin, and your skin is connected to receptors that reads and feeds the environment and send this information back to you. And this is what you perceive as a reality. Everything you're doing, how you're living, how you're listening to me, all of this is through vibration of chemical reactions. All right. We're not even into the lesson yet, y'all. Y'all have to understand this before we even get into the lesson, because this is how deep this stuff get. Okay. Now you see, sense organs in the skin. You see the thermoreceptor? These are receptors here, y'all. All of these are receptors. Some react to the cold, snowing. Some react to figs, leaves. Most of them react to the sun to stimulate your melanin or your melatonin. Some react to pain, pinch. You see that? This is why you call it epiderm. Derm means skin. Innerderm, hypoderm, under the skin. All of this is a part of your brain. You literally can think with your skin. That's why we have to be very, very, very aware about what we putting on our skin. What type of oils you putting on your skin, type of chemicals you rubbing into your skin, who you letting touch on your skin, who you making love to, who you cuddling up on, what type of fabric you wearing, what type of clothes you wearing. Because all this affects your brain, because your skin is a part of your brain, because it's made from the same ectoderm cell that helped created you when you was an embryo. Now, if y'all got some understanding, and overstanding on that so far, type in some 9s, and then we'll get the lesson started. Because this, I need y'all to understand this before we start talking about the glances. So if y'all understand that, type in some 9s, and we'll get this lesson started. I'm waiting on y'all. Give me my 9s, and we'll get it started. Now check this out. Let's go and get to it. I'm going to say that picture for later. All right, let's get into the lesson then. I want to read them to you one more time, and then we're going to start the lesson. All right, so this top part right here is the pituitary gland. Right up under the pituitary gland, you have the pineal gland, or what they call the third eye. Right up under that, you have what they call the thyroid and the parathyroid gland. Right above the heart, inside the chest cavity, you have the thymus gland. All right, right on top of each kidney, you have something called the adrenal glands. They look like pyramids. Right under that, you have the pancreas or the pancreatic gland. And then last but not least, in females, you have the ovaries, and in males, you have the testes. All right, so now since we got understanding on that, let's keep it going. Now, what they don't want to talk to us about is this gland right here. This gland right here is called the hypothalamus gland. The hypothalamus gland is literally a bridge between your nervous system and brain and the rest of the glands in your body. Okay? So this comes from the hippocampus. The hippocampus is your reptilian brain. It literally sits at the stem of your nervous system, or what they call your spinal cord. All right? In doctor terms, they call it the mammalian brain, and it's the reptilian brain. All right, this literally is where the seat of your emotions and memory and chemical reactors take process at. So most of your memory, most of your emotions and everything come from this top gland, and it's called the hypothalamus gland. All right, that's what it's called, the hypothalamus gland. Now, I want to show y'all how your consciousness is expressed through your body through your glandular highway. Okay? Now, let's keep it going, because now it's finna get deep. It's finna get deep. Now, what glands do? Every gland in your body have one specific job or several specific jobs, and they do them to the T. The whole important point of that is for your glands to secrete, write this down, family. They secrete hormones, neuromelanin transmitters, okay? Hormones, neuromelanin transmitters, steroids, salts, and enzymes. I'm going to say it again. Hormones, neuromelanin transmitters. If you Caucasian, you just have melanin transmitters. You just have neurotransmitters. But if you are black, you in fact have melanin neurotransmitters. And I want to make that distinction too, because it shows you how we operate so different when it comes to our spirituality. All right. So again, hormones, neuromelanin transmitters, steroids, salts, and enzymes. This is the whole important chemical functioning of your glands to secrete these things. So let's get into what these things are first. So a steroid. Is biologically active organic compound. A steroid literally is a salt, y'all, but it's an organic compound with 4 rings arranged in a specific molecular configuration. Steroids have 2 principal biological functions. Now check out what they do. As important components for cell membranes, which alter membrane fluidity. So what it does, if you are say if you have too much hypertension and you're getting dehydrated, a steroid will come through and let your pituitary gland know that you need more water. So your body will start literally holding more water. Okay, for you can get rid of the dehydration. Say if you're overhydrated, the steroid will come through as a salt and literally drive the water out by way of the pituitary gland. That's why I'm always talking about how the pituitary gland actually governs water retention. See, you need your glands for everything. That's the only way you can operate in this reality is through your glandular highway, period. All right? And as signaling molecules. Y'all see that? So they actually are signals too. So you have steroids in your receptors in your skin by way of your glands. So that's what steroids do. And remember, steroids are usually a salt. For instance, insulin. Insulin is a steroid. All right. Now we're talking about something called natural steroids. Now check out what natural steroids are. It says are involved in a wide range of physical processes, including stress response, immune response, carbohydrate metabolism, protein, basically metabolism. All right, blood electrolytes. So even your electrolytes come through steroids. You see that? Levels and in the regulations of inflammation and behavior. So your steroids control what? Your behavior. It says it right there, y'all. Your steroids that your body produces through your glands by way of the hypothalamus gland actually controls your behavior. Your behaviors are literally being controlled by chemicals. All right. It says the uses or for outreach, simply bulking up on muscle. Now here go one: testosterone and cholesterol. These are steroids. Estrogen is a steroid. Progesterone is a steroid. Insulin is a steroid. These are natural steroids. Now, so this show you how the chemical composition make people gay and homosexual too. Men are producing too much of the steroid, estrogen, and progesterone, and they're not producing enough testosterone. You see that? When men start producing too much estrogen by way of the pituitary gland and by way of the hypothalamus gland and by way of their testes, they start growing breasts. They start growing hips. They start losing hair because testosterone is the only way you can grow hair on your face. That's why inside of my hair, if you look inside my hair ointment and get inside of some of the MERS and stuff like that, they have a lot of testosterone in it. That's why we're able to grow your hair back. It's through a steroid called testosterone. You see that? Yeah, boy, you can. Yeah, that's the truth, bro. All right. Now check this out. Let's read about hormones. What in fact is a hormone? A hormone or chemical messengers used in the body by the endocrine system. They coordinate our organs. Hormones are produced by glands, just like steroids are produced by glands, just like salts are produced by minerals that's produced by glands, just like enzymes are produced by sugars or produced by crystallized melanin that's produced by your glands. We literally are happy, sad, horny, mad, angry, or anxious all through chemical processes through our glandular highway. This literally what makes up our personality. You see that? If you want to stop here, you're going to have to take more estrogen. But you got to be careful with the estrogen because what the estrogen will do is give you fibroblastic tumors and cysts inside of your vagina cavity. So you don't want that. All right. Now, not only, so remember, we said it produces salts, it produces hormones, and we said it produces melanin transmitters. Let's talk about the melanin transmitters. All right, look at the function of these things. I'm only going to get into the ones that I know that y'all know, for we can really talk about them, and that's endorphins. Now, your endorphins literally or melanin neurotransmitters. All right, this is pain, suppression, pleasurable feelings, and appetite. These are chemicals, y'all. Okay, serotonin. I talk about serotonin all the time. Serotonin is actually produced inside of your gut, inside of your transverse colon. Remember I said that your gut was a brain as well, and you have glands inside of your stomach that they do not want you to know about, but we're going to go over them today. Its main function is to produce serotonin. Serotonin is literally the male side of melatonin. The pineal gland creates serotonin and melatonin. Serotonin, remember, your brain is actually connected to your transverse colon. All right. So serotonin is in charge of eating, sleeping. What they say? Mood. You thinking that you just catching feelings. No, you catching chemical reactions. That's what you catching. You think you catching feelings. People say get out your feelings. No, it's like get out of them chemical reactions you got going on. Because them the only reason why you have feelings anyway. It's all about chemical reactions. And we're going to get to the root of that too. But see what serotonin does. It controls your eating. It controls your sleeping. It controls your mood, your pain. What else it say? Depression. Some people are depressed because they have too much serotonin in their gut lining due to mucus. Some people are depressed because their thyroid and parathyroid is not converting calcium. You see that? From thyroxine or from calcitin. And it helps you with coping with stress. All right? Dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical reaction that helps you with movement control. You cannot lift your fingers. You can't hold that phone that you're holding right now and hear this teaching, nor get around and walk around without your glances to produce dopamine. Now, dopamine is movement control, attention. You see that? Pleasure and reward of feelings. We ain't going to get into the gamma amino right now because I want to talk about that with another one. All right? But we can get in glutamate, and that's all memory. Now, all of these things are first produced by the hypothalamus gland. The hypothalamus gland is your bridge link to your nervous system, is your bridge link for your nervous system and your glands to communicate with each other. Okay? Period. Let's keep it going. These are what you call neurons. These are what you call dendrites. This is your nervous system highway. This is what your brain looks like when you're firing off messages to your skin, to scan the environment, to think, or to do anything. This is your brain. This is electricity. These red things you see are actually neuron transmitters. You see these red spots? These are sending messages through every cell in your body, speaking to every cell of your body through chemical reactions. And you perceive these chemical reactions as vibrations, and then your brain take the vibrations, or what we call the frequency, and then you was taught to learn words, so you get words and pictures and imageries from these things, and then this is how you really perceive this holographic universe. Yes, we living in a matrix. Everything you see, hear, breathe, touch is a chemical. You think you in love, that is a chemical. You think that food was good, that was a chemical. You think that sex was good, that was a chemical, oxytocin, a binding hormone. That's how you in love. That's why you can't break that magical spell. Because it's too much oxytocin that's going on between y'all. You see that? Them seats on that car feel good. That's a skin receptor, a chemical. That's why I feel good. Because it soothes the nervous system. It brings more electricity to the body. All these are chemicals, y'all. So this shows you how you get sick then. You get sick and you get disease with chemicals. Why you think I'm always talking about chemical warfare? Because they're putting chemicals inside of our endocrine gland and it's killing us. 85% of all sickness and disease is by one of these 7 glands, which is 12 glands. We're only going to go over 8 of them today, though. And this is how disease is truly manifested. Okay? Let's keep it going. I don't need to get into that. All right, let's talk about the nerve and gland connection. All right, let me blow this picture up for y'all. This is the nerve and gland connection. Nervous and endocrine system connection. Now check this out. This is your sympathetic nervous system. All right? This your sympathetic, this your parasympathetic nervous system. Notice what's connected to all of these. Your trachea, your broncho. You see that? All your gallbladder, your adrenal glands. All of your glands are connected to the sympathetic, or what we call the autonomic nervous system. These things run by themselves. Literally, the glands in your body tells you through chemical reaction, breathe. You see that? So you don't have to be focusing on breathing. You do that with ease. It's effortless, right? That's because you have glands that sends out chemical reactions that let you do that. So it shows you people with breathing problems. Oh, something is wrong with one of them glands. Y'all see where I'm going with it? You see where I'm going with it? Okay. Y'all see that? Now you got the hypothalamus gland, the pineal gland, and the pituitary gland. These are what I want to speak on first. These are inside of the actual central nervous system, or what they call the first brain. Again, you have 3 brains. Well, you actually have 4. You have your brain, which is the lobe inside of your head. You have your heart, which is actually a brain that have melanin neurotransmitter and thinks for itself as well. You have your stomach, which is a brain that have melanin neurotransmitters and send most of its messages to the brain. The brain doesn't communicate with the stomach first. The stomach actually holler at the brain and tell the brain what to do. I bet y'all didn't know that. And then fourth but not least, you have your skin, which is a brain as well. Okay? So we finna start off with the hypothalamus gland, the pineal gland, and the pituitary gland. So let's get to it. All right. All right, here we go. Hypothalamus gland. It says, when it comes to electricity created in the human body, the energy source created is chemical. Do y'all see that? The energy source that's created is called a chemical. And I want to break down the word call to y'all, for y'all can understand what chemical actually means. Okay? It says the energy created by chemicals have to do with the composition of the atoms and the molecules present. So we're going to go break down the word chemical. Let's keep it going. What this says. This says the elements in our bodies, like sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium, have a specific electrical charge. So everybody want to know where electricity come from. Electricity literally come from you walking on the earth and your antennas through your skins by way of chemical composition of your glands, and it keeps your nervous system alive. You're literally a walking, talking, breathing battery. You become sick when that battery needs charge and you never put it on the charger. All right, so that's why we use electrical herbs to heal you and to charge you up. It says almost all of our cells can use these charged elements called ions to generate electricity. All right, the contents of the cell are protected from the outside environment by the cell membrane, and it's what you call the mucosal membrane. We're gonna talk about that next week. All right, we got one more. Then we're gonna get on this gland. Electricity is everywhere, even in the human body. Our cells are specialized to conduct electrical currents. Electricity is required for the nervous system to send signals throughout the body and to the brain, making it possible for us to move, think, and feel. All these are by chemicals and electricity, y'all. How you moving, how you thinking, and how you feeling. These are chemicals going on. Y'all see that? Letting you know that your body is nothing but a vehicle. That's it. Your body is nothing but a vehicle. All right. The human nervous system. Well, we already went over that one. Let's keep it going. Let's get to it. All right, here it go. All right, now the first one we're going over is the hypothalamus gland. Y'all spell it Hypothalamus. Write that down. It's the first one we're going over. It's the hypothalamus gland. It says, ever wonder what part of the brain controls emotions? ? Well, the entire central nervous system helps control our emotions. Emotions. E means energy. Motions mean movement. Energy or electricity in movement is what makes emotion. This is a chemical reaction, y'all. This is how emotions or electricity in movement, or what you call energy in movement, causes the body to be sick. It starts off emotionally first through one of these 7 glands that we finna go over. It says, as you'll learn, activities in the limbic system and the autonomic nervous system are especially influential over our emotional health. the entire limbic system, including subparts like the hippocampus, the hypothalamus, and the amygdala, helps control numerous emotions, voluntary, endocrine, and vascular responses to our environments that we all experience daily. So it's the intricate system of the glandular highway that literally controls your emotions and how you view your perception of life. So if we can get our minds right emotionally, we truly can heal our body with the herbs. That's why I always say, look, be a good cheer when you heal. Make sure you're thinking positive. Don't be calling me if you don't believe the herbs work. Don't call me. You have to get your mind together first. We can't heal you by ourselves. We can't walk you through this and hold your hand the whole time. We here to supply the service to you, and we love you enough to put together the compounds and do all the dirty work, like showing you what fruits you need to eat and basically making it easy for you to heal. But the true healer is you. You have to heal yourself. And first you have to heal your mindset. This is what this is all about. All right. Now, this is what the hypothalamus gland look like. Notice that the hypothalamus gland is connected directly to your iris, your eyes. This is the hypothalamus gland right here. This is what we're going over. This is the master control gland over every gland inside of your body. Okay? Let's keep it going. Now, let's get into some things that the hypothalamus gland actually does. The hypothalamus gland controls emotions, which is anger and fear. It regulates your eating, your hunger and your thirst, your pain and your pleasure. It controls the autonomic nervous system, including the adrenal glands. It controls your pulse, your blood pressure, your breathing, even how you are sexually aroused. It even has sensory receptors that let you know if you're sexually satisfied. That's why a man can ejaculate and don't want to have sex no more, and his rod can be completely hard. He can have a full-blown erection after he ejaculate, and the woman thinking, well, we can go around too, but he's eternally turned off now. He don't want it no more because his sensory sexual satisfaction sensor has been pleased. This is all controlled by the hypothalamus gland, y'all. You see that? All of this. So again, the hypothalamus gland controls emotions, anger, and fear. It regulates your eating, hunger, and thirst, your pain and your pleasure. It controls your autonomic nervous system, which is your pulse, your blood pressure, your breathing, and your arousal. It senses your sexual satisfaction. It controls all sensory perceptions and information, whether it be smell, whether it be touch, whether it be taste, whether it be sound, or whether it be sight. All these are governed by the hypothalamus gland through chemical reaction by way of receptors due to your skin. Okay? Now check this out. It says it forms short-term and long-term memory through chemically coding information. So you think memories or pictures, them is what your brain perceptualize these pictures as images, but they're literally nothing but codes and numbers that your brain straight make into sensory pictogram pictures. It's nothing but chemicals. That's it. That's it. All right. It says, and spatial memory, how you can walk into a house and feel the space inside the room. All this is controlled by your hypothalamus gland. Okay. Smelling something and actually being able, say if you smell a flower that your grandma used to have when she was alive, but she dead now, and you smell that flower, and as soon as you smell it, a picture of your grandma pop in your head. This is through the hypothalamus gland. All right. Now let's read what it says. So this is the homeostasis, your food intake. Okay, your metabolism, your water, your electrolyte balance, your temperature regulation, your circadian rhythm, the clock inside of your body is all due to these glands right here. It says the endocrine system controls via the pituitary gland, growth hormones, stress hormones, reproductive hormones. So if you have growing problems, if you're short like me, you must have a pituitary gland problem. You have a growth problem through growth hormones. If you stress out a lot, you have a stress hormone that's on you. and it's shutting down your reproductive organs. If you can't have children, you have a low sperm count, you can't produce an egg each month, women. Something is wrong with your glands. That's what something is wrong with your endocrine system. All right. All this is by way of the lipids system. All right. Now it says integrate sensory information, memories, and emotions to organize sympathetic and parasympathetic responses. Limbic functions, memory, and emotion. Let's keep it going. All right. Now, when you actually get inside of the brain, you see what we're looking at right here. They actually call this the reptilian brain. You actually can see the body of the reptile. You see the cobra-like wings on the head, and you see the eye on it. All right. In Kemet, they call it Patu or Patuma because he has a beak. The beak to this snake, or what they call bird or falcon, the beak of it that we're looking at is actually called the hypothalamus gland. And this controls the pituitary gland that look like, literally, it looks like some nut sacks. That's the pituitary gland. And then this is the pineal gland. That's what we finna get into. So we see that the master gland right now is the hypothalamus gland, because the hypothalamus gland controls all these other glands in the glandular highway. Okay. Now, we got what that does, right? We see that we have neuromelanin transmitters. All right. We see what they do. We see now it's time to start getting into steroids. Whenever we say salts is nothing but minerals. But what happens is a secretion comes through the glandular highway and it converts these minerals and it binds them together and creates salts. The body don't need minerals. The body needs minerals to convert to salt. So the body needs salts and solvents to actually heal your body. Now, let's talk about the pituitary gland. All right. This is the pituitary gland right here. Remember, it looked like the testicles, the nutsack that I just said? This is the pituitary gland. It's inside the brain, along with the pineal gland and along with the hypothalamus gland. The only way that you can experience consciousness is through these glands. Without these glands, you are, for real, you messed up. That's why when you take somebody thyroid gland, they have to be on some type of calcium medication for the rest of their life. Or people with thyroid problems or hypothyroidism, they're heavy set, they can't lose weight, or they're very depressed and very sad because they can't utilize calcium. You see that your glands literally controls your entire emotional perception on life. So this is the pituitary gland. The interior pituitary produces salts, hormones, steroids, and enzymes, TSH, HC, TH, LH, FSH, GH, prolactin. The posterior pituitary, oxytocin. So when you tell somebody you love them and you feeling that bond with them, you are literally loving them through your pituitary gland. You're loving them through a binding chemical, a love chemical, or an aphrodisiac chemical called oxytocin. All this is by way of melanin. That's how you love and bond with somebody. That's why a mother loves her child so much. Guess how it's stimulated? It's stimulated through foreplay. Why do you think a baby sucks on a mother's nipple or its mother's nipple? This releases oxytocin into the baby's mouth, and it releases oxytocin in the mother's brain, and it forms a bond. That's why women love they nipples getting lit by their man. They call it a part of being sexually aroused. Well, this actually introduced this oxytocin love chemical. This is what they call a sexual soul tie, a chemical called oxytocin. Y'all think I'm playing? Look it up. Then you got vasopressin, all right, which is the opposite of oxytocin. We're going to get into that too. Write all this stuff down, y'all, and learn this stuff for yourselves. That way y'all get it for yourselves, and I'm not making anything up, okay? Now, let's talk about the pituitary gland. Now, the thing about the pituitary gland, when you actually get into it, the pituitary gland is one of the main computers of your body, okay? It's one of the main computers of your body, and it most definitely stimulates and produces tissues that produces and releases specific hormones, steroids, melanin transmitters, and everything such alike, okay? Now, the functions of this computer, it controls the functions of all the other glands. because it works in conjunction and right along the side of the hypothalamus gland. Okay? It connects to your cellular mucosa glands. So when you get mucus all in your body and all in your sinus cavity and your mucus, and people that have HIV and AIDS and herpes, what's getting directly hit is their pituitary gland. This is what secretes all this mucus throughout your body, what makes you blow your nose, what makes you hawk up all of this green phlegm. That's controlled by the pituitary gland, because the pituitary gland is actually directly connected to the cellular mucosa glands all throughout the entire body and the small intestines and the transverse colon. All of this is the pituitary gland. Not only, let me show you how amazing the pituitary gland is. Matter of fact, let's go back to the picture. But while I'm talking about it, y'all can look at it. This is the pituitary gland in the middle of your brain. This thing right here. Look, this thing actually controls your transverse colon. This thing actually controls and secretes hormones and steroids and salts and enzymes to control your water retention. It tells you when to drink water. It tells you when you're thirsty. It tells you when you have too much water in you. I mean, all of that. It controls your growth and your height. I'm 5'6". I'm pretty short. That's because I had a damaged pituitary gland, literally. Okay? It activates your thyroid gland and your parathyroid gland. The pituitary gland does this. Your follicles and stimulates hair growth, and also follicle stimulation and estrogen secretion and an egg growth. So if you can't have a baby, or you have children back to back children, and you just constantly getting pregnant every time your man ejaculates in you, that means you have a very healthy pituitary gland. If you can't have children, that means you have a very, very, very hyper pituitary gland or hypopituitary gland. And this also produces sperm cells and plasma production inside of man testicles. This is how important the pituitary gland is. Not only that, it helps you out with the production of estrogen and testosterone, pain relief and receptors. Okay, it helps you store water, and it produces the stimuli. It produces and stimuli oxytocin to help you produce breast milk, and it's the love binding agent. All of this, the pituitary gland. Ain't that deep? That's deep. We're gonna get into prolactin too. So y'all got all that down? If we can keep going, let me know, because I want to hurry up and get into how we get these things sick. All right, remember, your 85% of all diseases, 85% of all sicknesses is due to one of these glands not being right. One of these glands is being off electrically wise. One of these glands is not secreting or producing what they need to, whether it be a steroid, a salt, an enzyme, or a melanin neurotransmitter. 85% of all sickness, 85% of all sickness is due to one of these glands. Okay? Now, let's look this up. I'm not even going to try to produce all of these things, but write these names down. I want to pay close attention to your melanocytes, because we have to start talking about the pineal gland next. But this is what all these things do. All right, but I'm particularly interested in melanocytes, because the pituitary gland produces melatonin that actually is produced by the pineal gland. The pituitary gland will be the man in a relationship. The pineal gland will be the woman. All right. If you want to get into biblical talk, the pituitary gland is the tree of knowledge, good and evil. The pineal gland is the tree of life, or the tree of light. All right. So let's talk about that. All right. Now, what I want to do is, before we get to that, I want to exit out of this a little taste. Let me just go like this. And I want to click on, where we at? Right here. All right, so the beautiful thing about the pineal gland. Let me show you the pineal gland. This is the pineal gland right here, y'all. The pineal gland is right here. Now, the beautiful thing about the pineal gland is literally the seat of the soul. The pineal gland is literally the first eye. The pineal gland is what creates melatonin, is what creates serotonin, is what creates most of your amino acids, or what we call proteins, that builds up your body. When you look on the top of a sperm head, right, the first thing that creates in the symbiotic relationship is the melanin. This is the melanin right here. Notice they call it the nucleus. That's the melanin. This stay with you from when you first are conceived, right? In conception until you are delivered, and it stays with you through all out your life. They do not give us enough information on melanin, or what we call carbon, or what you call sugar, crystallized sugar, because this is the seed of you truly being a God manifested in the flesh. Like the scripture said, ye were gods, but you would die like men. In Psalms chapter 82. You see that? So let's really talk about melanin. I want to get into melanin a little bit, because this is what your pineal gland secretes. Okay? Now, how you play this thing? You play it with this? Slideshow. Yep, you do. Okay, melanin. Now, before we get into melanin, we have to really break down this word chemical, because melanin is a chemical. Now, the reason why is because the word melanin actually come from dark indigenous people that was indigenous to Egypt. And when we was in slavery there, it just means to be black, or to be melatonin, to have a black color of skin. A coal is something that you burn on a barbecue pit, y'all. And coals are what? They're naturally black. It's the key to life. It's the only molecule that condenses sunlight. All right. The abstract immaterial substance that synchronizes your etheric, or what we call your spiritual body, in your physical body to the universe, or what we call the cosmic consciousness. Now, there's 4 different types. I'm moving too fast. Hold on, family. Now, how you go back on this? I'm messing up stuff. Hold on, family. I'm messing up stuff. Let me end the show. Okay, let me go back, family. I'm moving too quick here. Moving way too fast. Give me 1 second. I didn't jump the gun. All right. So you have 4 types of melanin that's produced. All right. So now you got cosmic melanin. And this is when you look up in the sky and you see all that darkness. You see all that blackness going on, right? That's cosmic melanin. And it's made of gases and substance like nitrous oxide and carbon oxide. That's what we made up of. All right. I thought melanin was made up. No, melanin is not made up at all. Melanin is true and is real. I actually studied melanin. How you think I'm healing everybody? I'm healing everybody through melanin. Melanin, carbon, and sugar is the same exact things. So if you don't like the word melanin, call it carbon. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. You can't survive without melanin. All right. So when you look out in the sky, you see all that blackness up there. That's what you call melanin, or what you call carbon, or crystallized sugar. Okay. Humans, when you get inside a human being, we actually have neuromelanin. All right. And eumelanin. It's made of millions and millions of fractal crystals made by magnetites. All right. That forms 12 clusters in your brain. These 12 clusters in your brain, if you want to think of it about scientific, biblically sense, we can call them the 12 disciples. All right. Now, remember, I was calling the pineal gland the tree of life, or the tree of light. I was calling the pituitary gland the tree of knowledge, good and evil. Now we see that we have the 12 disciples, or what they call the 12 clusters in your brain. And these things are a part of your cranial nerves. Your cranial nerves. It's called the 12 cranial nerves. Look it up. And each of them have an attribute that acts just like the 12 disciples. It's amazing when you look it up. All right, you is made of liquid melanin, or liquid carbon, that makes up the great percentage of your hemoglobin, your blood plasma. Why do you think they got all these blood plasma centers on every street corner? Because they're trying to study your melanin. You see that? They're trying to study your melanin, your carbon, your whatever you want to call it. It's all the same thing. They all got the same exact molecule when you look them up. You see that? Tomato, tomato. It is responsible for your skin color. Then you have botanical melanin. It's what we need to heal. This is how I'm able to heal a lot of people. I heal them through plants. The melanin through the plants, because it's very electrical. You see that? And the melanin, or the carbon substance, is carbon 18, hydrogen 10, nitrogen 2, oxygen 4. Look it up. Now, the reason why I wanted to get into this a little taste, because I want to show you where the word, where the actual word chemical come from. Now, when you actually get into the word chemet, It says Kemet is an ancient Egyptian. Is an ancient Egyptian. The country name was Kemet, or what they call Kemet, Chemical. This name holds a reference to the black and fertile soils that are lining the Nile flood plains. In contrast, the word for the desert, which typically was red sand, was Dishret. It says and translate to desert red sand. So whenever you think of the word Kemet, it's not talking about a spiritual religion or nothing like that. It literally means the black soils of Egypt. Okay? Now we're going to break down the word chemical or chemical. It's the study of the black man. That's what it is. Okay? Now let's keep going. The meaning of the term Kemet, spelled Kemetko or Kemet, it means the land of the black people. Some older Egyptologies, those who went to school before 1970s, or people who cited those outdated sources, believe Kemet means black land. Okay? That's what it means. It means black. So whenever you get into chemical or chemistry, chemical is literally a melanin or a melatonin dot, or what you call a carbon dot. Chemistry is the study of the black man, the black carbon dot. Now, let's get into the word code, because remember, it's called Kemet code. In ancient Egyptian, used a form, in ancient Egyptian, it was a form of eyeliner called code to enhance their eyes. This replicated the appearance of the sun god Ra, or what they call Re. Code was made by a powder, all right? What they say? Answer me. Burnt almonds, black copper oxide, and brown arch. It said it was applied with a small stick called coal. Now, this small stick is literally coal that you put on your barbecue grill. Watch. So, chemic coal. It's talking about black things, black substances. Now, check out the Arabic word for chemical. It says the Arabic word for coal is an ancient eye cosmetic, traditionally made by grinding stibnite for similar purposes to charcoal. You see that? It's charcoal used as mascara. So coal is a charcoal. Kemet means black land or black soil. So they're studying the soil of black people. So whenever you look at the word chemical, they studying your black butt. You see that? Literally. So when somebody say, I took chemistry, oh, okay, you study black people. Huh? Or that toothpaste got chemicals. Oh, so it's something in there that destroys black people. Huh? Or you chemically imbalanced. Oh, you lacking melanin. You lacking hue. You lacking carbon. I have a chemical bipolar disorder. Oh, your melanin ain't regulating right through the secretion of your pituitary gland and your pineal gland, so yeah, they call you crazy. It's all the study of you, though. It's all the study of us, literally. Because this is what your pineal glands actually produce. Now, we went over that. Y'all see how deep that is? Now it says the galaxy, the sea, the soil, and food, and the womb of mothers all manifest the presence of this complex chemical. Y'all know what chemical mean now? Substance. Melanin. It's also present in our eternal system and all of our parts of our bodies, hearts, liver, muscle, nerve, intestines, and 12 locations in our brain. It is indeed our mothers who give us melanin once we are still in the womb. Melanin is the substance responsible for our existence. You cannot exist without carbon, y'all. Carbon is an organic mineral. It's what you made up out of. You see that? It is a healer. You cannot heal without melanin. Drugs actually kills melanin. So when anybody give you a chemical drug, they're killing your blackness. They're killing your melanin. And once your melanin gone, the rest of your glands are gone inside of your body. Now you sick. You got cancer. You got diabetes. You got all types of things manifesting. All right. The drug, the organizer of the major body function. Melanin is a system unto itself. It is present in both sperm and eggs. I showed y'all that through a picture already. All right. And it supervises the growth and development. Keep it going. I showed y'all that. I showed y'all all that. So let's keep it going. Let me end this real quick. Okay, end show. Boom. Get out of that. Now, since we got what the pineal gland actually produces, which is melanin, let's keep it going. Now let's go down into the actual thyroid and parathyroid gland. We get into the thyroid and the parathyroid. Thyroid and the parathyroid. This is your thyroid gland, family. Y'all see that? All right. And I want to start giving what these things give off before we even keep going. So whenever you have a pituitary gland problems, the problems from that or the diseases from that is multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, cerebral palsy, the lack of adrenal cortex stimulation, hypothyroidism actually comes from the pituitary gland. Hypofunction of the ovaries, where you can't have babies or you're having too many. Underactive ovarian cancer, overgrowth on the ovaries, or what they literally call fibroids. All right, rapid aging, when you age very, very quickly. All this is associated with the pituitary gland. Diabetes, lactation problems, and gut problems. Because remember, the pituitary gland is directly in correlation of the transverse colon. Okay? So that was for the parathyroid. That was for the pituitary gland. Now let's talk about the thyroid. Now, when you get into the thyroid, this is this thing right here. This is the thyroid. Let me show y'all another picture for y'all can get familiar with it. Now, on this one, we got the thyroid and the parathyroid. So this is the actual thyroid glands. These are the parathyroids. These 4 little yellow mucosa dots that secretes things, right? These 4 things are called the parathyroid. This whole thing right here is called the thyroid. This actually controls a lot of major functions in your body. Without your thyroid glands, you are very depressed, you're very overweight, or you're very skinny. It actually utilizes calcium. Calcium is so important to your body. We're going to get into that too. Calcium is one of the big alkalizers of your body. So this is the thyroid. All right. Now, the beautiful thing about the thyroid is it literally regulates your metabolism. Your thyroid regulates your metabolism. Okay? Your thyroid gives each of the cells the ability to absorb and use glucose, sugars, and phosphates. So you can't even absorb nutrients without your thyroid and your parathyroid. You need them. You need them. All right? It metabolizes amino acids converted by melatonin that's produced from, look, I don't think y'all heard me. It metabolizes amino acids. Amino acids is what makes up your body. It metabolizes them converted by melanin, growth hormones from your pineal and pituitary gland, and it uses them as fat solvents. It regulates the rate that your heart beats and the strength of your heartbeat. All this comes from the thyroid and parathyroid. So when your pulse slows up and goes down, this is by the thyroid and parathyroid. When it beating fast out of your chest and how hard and strong it beats, this is by the thyroid and parathyroid. All right? It sends calcium. It sends calcium to your blood by absorption in your intestines, in your bones, in your kidneys, in your eyes, in your fingernails. Like, it literally does everything for you through calcium. It also governs your sex drive and governs your mood of happiness, all right, by releasing the happiness endorphins through dopamines and serotonin. Ain't this amazing? All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Here go the thyroid again. It said the thyroid gland is located at the base of the neck. Its purposes is to release the hormone thyroxine. It also releases what they say, calcitonin. All right, calcitonin. That's what they say, calcitonin, or what they call calcium. That's the parathyroid. It says the thyroid gland, 4 smaller glands on the posterior side, known as the parathyroid gland. Their purpose is to release the hormone parathermone. All right, so this literally controls your metabolic processes. It literally controls if you happy or not. It controls your whole perception of reality through your glances. You see why important these things is? Because if your thyroid go down, then you stop producing calcium. Once you stop producing calcium, you don't have any type of lipid that's going to help you out with acid. The moment that you don't have nothing that's going to help combat your acid, then you full of acidosis. The moment you become full of acidosis is the moment you become sick with disease. Y'all see? Show y'all what thyroid look like again. Here go another thyroid, parathyroid and thyroid. This is actually a real picture of a thyroid taken out of the body. Okay. Parathyroid again. All right, it says parathyroid gland. 4 parathyroid glands are located on the thyroid, secrete the hormone, parathyroid hormone, PTH. PTH corrects a low blood calcium level. PTH promotes the release of calcium by the bones. PTH promotes the reabsorption of calcium from the kidneys. PTH brings the calcium vitamin D. I teach y'all this all the time. Now y'all finally seeing somebody else saying the same thing I've been saying for years. Y'all see that? The only way you're alive, healthy, and existing is through your glances. So we must pay special attention to our glandular highway and to our skin. Because 85% of all your sickness and death-related causes are by one of these glands or failing to operate correctly. Now, let's get into how important calcium is. This is how important calcium is. It says, how can low calcium levels affect the release of neurotransmitters? Now, the reason why I'm talking about how important calcium actually is because literally you see people with varicose veins, lack of calcium. People with bad skin, lack of calcium. People that can't see straight, lack of calcium. People with hair loss, lack of calcium. People that are always depressed and emotional, lack of calcium. Like we can go to it. For on and so forth, literally. Okay. Now check this out. It says, how can low calcium affect the release of neurotransmitters? Neurotransmitter signaling molecules produced in our nervous system allow for communication between the nerve cells, facilitating brain functionings, nerve signaling, and muscle tissues, and a number of other numerological processes. So this shows you, in order to even think correctly and send the right responses to your body and to your other parts of your body by way of neurotransmitters through calcium. You can't even think positive without calcium. You can't even think period without calcium. Y'all see that? Because it's the only way you thinking is through neuromelanin transmitters. It says calcium from our diet plays an important role in our neurotransmitter signal, with low calcium potential inhibiting neurotransmitter release. So you need calcium even to think right, y'all. This is why we need our thyroid and our parathyroid. This is the reason why we need our pineal gland. This is the reason why we need our pituitary gland. This is the reason why we need our thymus gland, our adrenal glands, our pancreas, our ovary, our gonads. Let's keep it going. I ain't got too much longer, y'all. Let's show y'all this. Calcium. Calcium actually helps with your cardiac. It helps with your heart. It helps secrete all your other hormones. It helps with coagulation system. It helps contract a smooth and saturated muscles, bone and teeth resistance, neurotransmitters. Y'all see how important the thyroid is? Like, do y'all see that? Literally, it's super important. Super important. All right, I just want to do a recap on what we done went through so far. Then we're going to keep it going. All right, so we went through the hypothalamus gland. The hypothalamus gland is good for any type of hormone release, thyrotropin, dopamine, growth hormone releasing hormone, somatostatin. I hope I said that right. Gonadotropin release hormone. Hopefully I don't know. I'm just going over these long names. And then your thyroid, thyroxine. All right, then it goes over. So look, remember your hypothalamus gland is literally going over all of your emotional aspect when you get to your emotional aspect. So let's just go over it again. Okay, so the hypothalamus gland go over and controls your emotions, anger, fear, regulation, eating, hunger, thirst, pain, pleasure, controls the autonomic nervous system, which is your pulse, your blood pressure, your breathing, your arousal, sensing sexual satisfaction, controls all sensory perceptions and information, which is your smell, your touch, your taste, your sound, your sight, forming short-term and long-term memory through chemical coding, information, recognition of what familiar faces is, what familiar tastes is, what familiar sounds are, how you remember somebody. Dang, I remember. How you even keep a remembrance of somebody is through the hypothalamus gland. Okay, you can't even remember without that. You wouldn't know who your girlfriend was, your wife was, your boyfriend, your husband, your children, none of that without your hypothalamus glands, because it literally gives you that. All right, spatial memory, your navigation or a sense of direction, smelling something and actually being able to put a memory or a picture to this. All of this is the hypothalamus gland. Then we went through the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is one of the main computers in your body. It controls the function of all the other glands. It's connected to your cellular mucosa glands that's in your small intestines and your transverse colon. It's in control of water retention, whether you drinking too much water, whether you need to drink more, whether you dehydrated, whether you overhydrated, your growth and your height. Activates your thyroid glands and your calcium deposits. It stimulates your follicle stimulation, which is estrogen secretion of egg growth inside the woman and sperm cells inside of the man. Production of estrogen and testosterone, pain relief receptors. It helps store water, and it stimulates breast milk, and it gives you your love binding hormone oxytocin, which makes you fall in love. Okay. Then we went over the pineal gland. The pineal gland is actually produced by the third eye. Melanin, I have my own video for melanin and what it produces. The pineal gland produces what we call melatonin and serotonin, or what we will call clinically. If you want to talk Dr. Sebi, talk card. Okay, you want to talk Dr. Lila Africa, melanin. You want to talk Yah'Ki language, sugar, because they all the same thing. Tomato. Yeah, yes. Thyroid is most definitely the cause of grave disease. Most definitely. All right. Y'all see how deep that is? That's super deep, y'all. All right, so look. Now, so we went over the now let's get to the adrenals. We got a few more we're gonna get up out of here. All right, so we got the hypothalamus, we got the pineal, the pituitary gland, and the thyroid. Let's keep it pushing. Now let's get to the thymus gland. Now, this gland right here is a very special gland. What you're looking at is this little gland right here. Let me put my thing around it. That's the thymus gland. The thymus gland is actually in control of your whole entire immunological lymphatic system. That's the thymus gland. The thymus gland actually produces white blood cells along with your bone marrow, and it sends and secretes melanin receptors to go holler at your bone marrow to tell it when to produce too much whether it's producing too many white blood cells or whether it's not. And I find this very, very particular for our leukemia patients we're dealing with. We really have to address the thymus gland if it's not gone. Now, the thymus gland in so-called African Americans is still very present, but in Caucasians and in Asians and in Mexicans, they literally grow up, and about time they hit 12, their thymus gland is no longer there. It's so small that you can't even see it. But in us, it's very present. Same thing with the pineal gland. So we really, really have to pay attention to that, because the thymus gland literally controls the immunological system of the body. It literally controls production of white blood cells that come inside of your bone marrow, inside of your rib cage. This is how important the thymus gland is. All right. Y'all see the thyroid gland sitting up there right above the trachea, the parathyroid. All right. Keep it going. I went over that. I'm going off. Hold on, y'all. Let me get it. All right. The thymus gland. It says the thymus gland is a triangular organ found with the lungs, secretion and functions. It produces thymosin, responsible for basically manufacturing of T lymphocytes in childhood. So what's responsible for your immunological system and your lymphocyte cells, your lymphatic system, your lymphatic fluid? It's the thymus gland. That's why the first thing you must do when you get a client, you gotta cleanse their blood. Go after that thymus gland, especially if they're so-called African American, because their thymus gland is still present in their body. We gotta cleanse that because that's what produces most of the white blood cells and very little of the red blood cells too. And it said it protects the body throughout the life from pathogens. It actually protects it from pathogens like cancer, leukemia, vaccines, viral uploads, HIV, AIDS, and it actually helps you out with secretion into the mucosa system as well. So whenever these glands are down, you are literally open up to any type of disease. All right. We go another one on the thymus gland. Check this out. It says the thymus gland is both an endocrine gland and a lymphatic organ. If y'all know me, all I talk about is the lymphatic system. You see that? You see that? And a Simpson. Make sure you inbox me right now, and I'll make sure I have somebody in my staff hit you tomorrow. Because if it is cancerous, we need to get on that ASAP. Okay, so hit me now, and I have somebody in my staff hit you tomorrow. So do that now. Stop everything you're doing and inbox me. All right. All right, now check this out. It says both the endocrine gland and the lymphatic organ located in the upper thorax. It says produces hormone called thymoxin or thymosin. It says it helps with the manufacturing, that's what I'm gonna call it, of the white blood cells to fight infection. So we need the thymus gland because it does what? Fight infection. It's one of your first line of defense. So somebody that's prone to infections a lot must have a very weak what? Thymus gland. And just a bigger picture of this gland, this is how it actually looks, y'all. This is how it looks. Okay? That's how it looks. All right. Let's keep it pushing. Let's keep it pushing. So y'all see the thymus gland, right? Now notice that it literally goes along with your B cells, your bone marrow cells, all of that in your lymphatic system. It's literally the police headquarters of the body. That's the thymus gland. It's the police headquarters of the body. They go out looking for Negroes to lock up. Bad guys, or what you call bad cells or foreign cells. That's what the thymus gland do. All right. Now, this is what they don't want to tell y'all about. I want to teach y'all, because if you can heal this inside the intestines, then you can heal the lymphatic system, and you can heal anybody of any sickness and disease. This is what I've been waiting to get to. I've been waiting to get to the intestinal glands that are found in the epithelia of the small intestines, namely the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum. All right. And the large intestines, the colon, and what we call the transverse colon. All right. It says where they are sometimes called colonic crypts. Hey, that's funny. Colonic crypts. All right, y'all see that? Now let's talk about these. Good, look, don't nobody want to talk about this. Why ain't nobody bringing this up? Huh? Why ain't nobody told you that you had glands inside of your stomach? Huh? Now we know that this is the stomach. The stomach is what holds the food. The stomach actually have glands on there that secrete something called hydrochloric acid. This is the liver. The liver is in production of making bile. This bile actually goes and sit inside the gallbladder. A gallbladder is a bile reservoir tank, right? Then it feeds it into the stomach and into the pancreas. The pancreas secretes its own ducts called insulin, or it produces a sugar called glycogen, or a salt called insulin. And all these things help with metabolic breakdowns of foods to bring the amino acids out, okay? Then the duodenum actually goes inside of the jejunum, Inside the duodenum and inside the jejunum, you have these little glands receptors up in that deal just producing all types of stuff. Huh? Then nobody tell you about the glands in your stomach. That's why most of the time they tell you that the start of all disease is in the gut. If you can heal the gut, and if you can heal the glands inside the gut and the mucosa and membrane inside the gut, then you can heal the rest of your body. Because remember, your transverse colon is directly connected to your pituitary gland. See, they try to keep us away from this information. You see that? And then you most definitely have glands right here inside the transverse colon. All right. So it goes into the duodenum, the jejunum, then the ileum. The ileum goes into something called the cecum valve. Once you get in kind of the cecum, it goes into the appendix. It goes into the ascending colon, the transverse colon. Then it goes down into the descending colon, the sigmoid colon, this the rectum, and this the anus. Notice this is dealing with all secretions, though. Nothing but secretions. Let's keep it going. Where I'm at now. All right, I'm glad we did that. Now let's get into the pancreas. This is the pancreas right here. All right, here go your pancreatic duct. This is your gallbladder. This is the duodenum pipe. Notice how they all deal with secretion, y'all. They help you break down your food and actually to get the right amino acids and vital minerals that you need. It's impossible to live without your glands. They feed your body. They're in control of your emotions. They govern your body. I mean, everything. These glands do everything. It's literally your spiritual form. This is what connects your spiritual body with this physical reality. Through your glands by way of electricity and enzymes, steroids, and salts and hormones. All right. Let's keep it going. All right. Let's talk about the pancreas. All right. So y'all see what it's talking about. Let's just get into it just a little bit. It says the pancreas is an organ of the digestive system and an endocrine system of vertebrates. In humans, it is located in the abdomen behind the stomach and function as a gland. The pancreas is a heterocrine gland, having both an endocrine and a digestive exocrine function. It says as an endocrine gland, its functioning is mostly to regulate blood sugar levels, secreting the hormone insulin and glycagon, which I tell y'all all the time. I got to get this word right. Somatostatin. I think I said that right. Somatostatin. I said it right, y'all. Somatostatin. I think I said that. And the pancreatic polypeptide as part of the digestive system. It functions as an exocrine gland, secreting pancreatic juice into the duodenum through the pancreatic duct. This juice contains bicarbonate, which neutralizes acid entering the duodenum from the stomach, and digestive enzymes, which break down carbohydrates, proteins, and fats in foods entering the duodenum from the stomach. That's how important your pancreas is. It literally breaks down the food, keep your acid levels in check, and take all the nutrients from the food, take it into the duodenum, and then it sucks it up through bacteria, biobifidum bacteria, through blood capillaries of your stomach, and it feeds it through the blood. You literally get your energy from this. Okay? Let's keep it pushing. All right. This is my last one I'm going to hit on. Last but not least, let's hit on the adrenals. I talk about the adrenals a lot. And the reason why I talk about the adrenals so much is because the adrenals is in control of 75% of the hormones that's actually inside of your body. Okay? Now, whenever you actually dealing with any of these diseases, especially the thyroid glands, you're dealing with scoliosis when they down. You're dealing with depression when your thyroid go down. You're dealing with connective tissue weakness and issues when your thyroid go down. You're dealing with varicose veins due to the lack of calcium when your thyroid go down. You're dealing with hemorrhoids, more prone to hemorrhoids when your thyroid go down. Hernias when your thyroid go down. Fibroids when your thyroid and your pituitary go down. Fibromyalgia, when your pituitary, your pineal gland, and your thyroid go down. Cholesterol, when your pancreas go down. Cholesterol plaquing, when your pancreas go down. Rapid aging, when your pituitary go down. Multiple sclerosis, when your parathyroid go down, when your pituitary go down, and your hypothalamus gland go down. Parkinson's disease, Graves' disease when your thyroid go down. Weight gain when your thyroid go down. Weight loss when your thyroid go down. Cerebral palsy, hypothyroidism, fever, lack of sleep, what they call libido, or what we call a limp penis. Diabetes when the pancreas go down. Gut issues when the transverse colon become prolapsed. All these are glands inside of your body that when they go down, you are susceptible to catch any of these diseases. Bone loss, hair loss, heart disease, arthritis, and most definitely malnutrition and a lack of minerals. Okay? Now, let's get back to the adrenal. The adrenal glands are responsible for what? Managing stress, regulating blood pressure. That's what you call systolic. Systolic and diastolic. Systolic is the top part, which is supposed to read 120. Diastolic is the bottom part, which is your kidneys. That's actually supposed to read 70 to 80. So this is the top part of your blood pressure, which are your adrenal glands, these pyramid-like things that's on top of your kidneys. And the bottom part of your kidneys are diastolic. That's the bottom part. You can tell if you have bad blood pressure, high blood pressure, low blood pressure. You can tell how your kidneys and your adrenals doing by just checking your blood pressure, y'all. All right, and it's balancing salt and water levels as well. Okay, let's keep it going. All right, let me get it. All right, it says the adrenal glands is also known as the suprarenal glands or the endocrine glands that produce a variety of hormones, including adrenaline, or what we call the fight or flight, and the steroid adenosine and cortisol. They are found above the kidneys. Each gland has an outer cortex which produces steroids, hormones in the inner medulla. Okay? Now, the thing about your adrenal glands is they do so much, literally. They do so much. So, like, whenever you really start getting into the adrenal glands, they dealing with the weakness. Low adrenal glands in the medulla function causes low blood pressure and not a sufficient neurotransmitters. And it starts to literally become nerve disorders, breathing disorders like asthma, bronchitis, problems with heart rhythms. Low adrenal glands' cortex causes infection, steroid productions, leading to acidosis and inflammation. In females, ovarian cancer, breast cancer, cervix cancer, uterine cancer, ovarian cysts, conception problems, miscarriage problems, menstrual bleeding problems, uterine fibroids, endometriosis, so on and so forth, unchecked inflammation, osteoporosis. Whenever you have a down endocrine system, a down adrenal system in females, these are all the things that you will go through in males: prostate cancer, erection problems, testosterone dominance, and prostatitis. That's what's going on in males. All right. And in both of us, blisters and arthritis, spinal and pelvic inflammation, lower back weakness, diabetes, and cancer and bladder weakness. So whenever these systems down, that's what you're going to go through. Because look, sugar, and look, these are the things that actually hurt them: fear, emotion and stress, death of a loved one, unwanted employment, material stress, sugars and white flour products, the lack of sleep, allergies. You see that? All of these things. Look, notice what it says: gut deterioration. You see that? Whenever you messed up about your gut, and whenever your gut ain't producing the right substance, and you letting food just rot inside of it. You know what I'm saying? Literally, grains and that ain't true right there. Because look, I know grains are, unless it's kamut or spelt. But when you start getting into like your lentil beans and stuff like that, lentil beans is actually good for you when you're not on the cleanse. So I'm not gonna side with that. If I see something wrong with that, I'm gonna say something. You know what I'm saying? And then the grains that's good for the gut is actually spelt kamut, and stuff like that. So I disagree with this part right here, y'all. I ain't gonna need a lot. Let me circle that now and let y'all see. I should have read that whole thing before I put this up here. All right, smoking, prescriptions, non-prescription drugs, caffeine, nutrient-poor foods, toxins, lack of nutrient-dense food, wound healing, and lack of relaxation and psychological stress. All these things are bad on your adrenal glands. But when it's talking about the legumes and it's talking about the grains, it's kind of wrong, but it's talking about that. Whatever you call it. All right. Where we at now? You already know I got my own talk. I be making up words. I make up some words real quick on you. You know what I'm talking about. All right, now check this out. So let's just go over the bottom half. We're going to get up out of here. So the bottom half, we actually went over the thyroid. We went over the, we didn't go over the thyroid. I'm tripping. We went over the adrenal glands. We went over the thymus glands. We went over the adrenals, went over the pancreas, and we went over the glands inside the stomach. All right, and then it shows you your secretions, which are do it down. It shows you that the kidney secretes something too, but we're going to get on that next week. Even your liver has secretions. All these are glands and organs that they don't teach you about, because the moment they teach you about these things is the moment that you become in control of your health, and then, hey, they don't make no more money. Straight up. That's how I go. I know this is one of my longest teachings I done did so far. So I just want to end it off with this right here. This is your electrical body. The only way your body is full of electricity and working like a computer is through your electrical nervous system. All right? Your nervous system is only activated through your glands. Your glands actually send receptors to your skin. Your skin actually sends receptors to the environment, scan the environment, then you have a chemical reaction, and that lets you know whether you're going to be healthy, you're going to be sick, you're going to be happy, sad, horny, whatever mood you're going to be in that day. So we have to really pay close attention to these symptoms and to these symptoms and system. And once we start really keying in on these systems, man, we'll do wonders with our bodies. How do you get rid of varicose veins? I'm going to answer that question, and I'm going to get up out of here. But look, intake calcium, natural calcium from herbs in your food, and work on your thyroid and parathyroid. Now, I just want to give y'all some herbs that's very, very cool for y'all endocrine system. We got mugwort. We got wormwood. You got yellow yarrow, burdock, greater burdock, cleavers, red clover, violet leaves, bladderwrack, sea moss, dose, kelp, and wild yam, and licorice root. Be careful with the wild yam and be careful with the licorice root, especially if you got high blood pressure, because it will kill you. You will stroke out. No bull. So be very, very, very careful with them herbs right there. All the other ones I just said is pretty cool to use, but when it comes to that wild yam and it comes to that licorice root, make sure you watch your dosage on it, because you can kill a client. All right. With that being said, I hope y'all got some understanding, and overstanding. If y'all did, give me some nines, and we're gonna go and close out this thing. But I hope that was edifying for y'all. And look, let's start paying attention to our glandular highway, because that's literally what controls our emotions. Give me some nines and we can get up out of here. Yes, thank you. Thankful, blessings. Okay, all praise. I'm glad that y'all got some understanding, overstanding, and understanding. So calcium helps grow hair. Yes, it helps grow hair. Most definitely, my brother. Okay, all praises. So let's get out now. How do I get out of this deal? Let me go up out of here. Bang.